Indonesia's first billion-dollar tech startup, Gojek, has evolved from a transport logistics company to expand its grip into the digital payments market. GoPay is now also the fourth biggest e-wallet service in Indonesia. Now, just this month, it announced a partnership with local mobile blockchain enabler Coins.ph. What kind of synergies will be created by this deal? Ron Host, founder of Coins.ph, also a member of the Endeavor Network, joins us in the studio. Good morning, Ron. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning.
So, okay, I know you're not going to give me a figure of how much Gojek actually invested in Coins.ph, but how will the setup work? Will they have a say in operations? Is it a substantial acquisition of shares that they did? Will they have a seat on the board?
So it's a very substantial acquisition. It's probably one of the largest tech acquisitions in Philippines market to date. So we're quite excited about it.
Will they have a say in how you run the operations? Will somebody from that Gojek team come here in the Philippines, help you run technology transfer? How will it work?
So there's a lot of synergies, given that Gojek has been extremely successful in the payments business in Indonesia. They now constitute about 30% of all digital transactions going through Gojek mobile wallet. So there's a lot of knowledge transfer for us. We'll also have a larger balance sheet backing us, which is going to help us accelerate growth. We're probably going to operate relatively independently, but obviously with management and oversight in collaboration with Gojek.
So last check, you have a customer base of over 5 million users doing 6 million transactions per month. Where do you see these numbers going now that you have Gojek behind you?
Yeah, I mean, we were always really focused on financial inclusion. So, ultimately, we want to get to a point where every single person in the Philippines has a wallet and direct access to financial services. So our motivation, is just to continue to go as fast as we can.
And earlier, I was asking you the market share, and you were saying there's really no hard data on it. But do you think you're all on equal footing with your competitors?
Yeah, I think at the point it's really a side-by-side race, which is good for everybody because we actually want a fragmented market. We want a market where there is competition and companies are actually investing in providing a better product and better service to consumers.
But do you have a target from over 5 million, maybe in the next 3 years, hitting 10?
We'd be happy with 10. We'd be happy with 20. We want to grow as big as we can.
And with the 5 million users, how many are active?
So we don't. Yeah, those are metrics we usually don't publish out so much.
How about the size of transactions, at least? 6 million transactions
so
a month?
About 6 million transactions per month. So we can from that you can tell it's a pretty active customer base.
But how big would the transactions be?
So it ranges. When it's remittance type transactions, usually it's going to be in the hundreds of dollars per transaction. The day-to-day transaction usually it's going to be a few hundred peso average.
And now that you're partners with GoPay of Gojek, do you see cross-border transactions possibly happening in the future? How will that work?
Yeah, so I think we are building out regional presence now, and there's a few advantages to that. One is obviously we can have market-to-market transactions, cutting down a lot of the cross-border costs, but also with our global partnerships. So we'll be announcing quite a large partnership. I think later this week or next week with a global remittance player. And so, of course, those partnerships can now be leveraged across the region.
And going back to the 5 million customer base that you have, do you somehow feel that the 5 million would be the low-hanging fruits and you've picked them, that perhaps the next million may be harder to convince to sign up?
So with growth, it's always, of course, the more you grow, the harder it is to grow.
Exactly.
But there's a second effect in place, which is, so our wallet allows people to transfer funds between customer to customer without cost, right? So the more people are coming on the platform, actually, the more there is actually a greater incentive for other consumers to join, right? And the way we've built the product, so you can actually use coins to send money to anyone with a phone number. The recipient doesn't actually need to have a Coins wallet.
Oh, so how does that work?
You enter the phone number of the recipient, you enter the amount that you want to send.
How can I claim it if I don't have a wallet?
So we send you a link, and you can do one of two things. You can, when you receive the link, you can enter a password and you immediately have a wallet, and the funds are ready for you in the wallet for withdrawal. Or we've also partnered with a security bank, and we can send you a 16-digit code, and then you can take the code to the ATM, type in the code, and then you get funds out. And you don't need to have an ATM card, you don't need to have a bank account, you don't need to even have a smartphone to receive those funds. So the nice thing is with a mobile wallet now, you can actually send money anywhere in the Philippines to really any recipient.
I know that Coins was one of the first few players that was dealing with Bitcoins. I did a story on Bitcoins once, and they were all talking about coins.ph. Do you think that the fact that Bitcoin has fallen so much that the appetite for these cryptocurrencies has waned? That you're going to have to depend less on the cryptocurrency, the blockchain side, and focus more on just the remittance using fiat?
We're actually happy with how the market is shaping, and I do agree with you. There's the digital currency market has kind of has quieted down a lot. And we were never excited about the speculative part of digital currency. What we were excited about is the blockchain as a railway for facilitating lower cost cross-border transactions. So in a way, a lot of that noise has gone away, and now really the transactions get focused on on the financial side. And our business has actually grown primarily on the cash side over the past probably like 12 to 18 months. About 80% of our transactions now are pure fiat peso transactions. So that's coming from things like bill payments, airtime, remittances, our payment partnerships with big online retailers like Traveloka, for example, people booking flight tickets.
So you don't see cryptocurrencies, gaining like 50% of transactions? Maybe not in the near future.
Not so much. I think what we're going to see in the future is really that layer becoming an infrastructure layer for facilitating certain financial services, but consumers really using regular peso transactions.
When you talk about digital wallets, e-wallets, it all boils down to network. Who are using it, how many of us are using it so that I can use it wherever I go.
Yeah.
For example, in China, even vendors have digital wallets. I mean, you buy the fruit from the side vendor using a QR code. Here in the Philippines, do you think that maybe we need to get the big players, the retail giants, to get on board so that we have more use for the digital wallets? But the problem with that is your retail giants also have a banking arm, and they can also pursue the e-wallets.
So I think that's definitely important, and the good news is we know how the market, we can see other markets, so we know where we're going, right? And it's just a matter of time of when we get there. One of the things that we've been working with the central bank and with the banking industry now is to standardize these QR payment codes. We expect later this year for there to be standardization where all wallets, all banks are going to be using the same format, so we can actually collaborate on payments, and that will greatly accelerate the penetration of these services. So when when a merchant decides to accept payments, actually every bank wallet, every electronic wallet can then pay into that same QR code.
So when that happens later this year, how soon before you think all of us will be paying in QR codes?
So there's a few things that need to happen together with that, but I think we're going to see over the next probably like 2 years, we're going to see a pretty fast transformation. Of course, with that, we need to ensure that internet infrastructure, internet connectivity kind of races up together.
Exciting! That's a very exciting feature you've got there. Ron, I just wanted to go back to the GoPay Coins collaboration. Do you think that this investment by GoPay and Coins is Gojek Group's one foot in the door in the Philippine market for the transport logistics side? Because we do know that the LTFRB turned down their application of VLOX technology, citing violations in the foreign ownership limits. But now with U.S. partners, could you be the way that they enter the transport business?
So I would actually look at these two partnerships separately. For people who are not familiar with Gojek's business model in Indonesia, they really have several operations, right? So they're in transportation, logistics, they're in food, they're in payments, and they're in a few other sectors. So for the moment, we're really focusing on the GoPay Coins partnership as a way of driving financial inclusion, and really the core focus is on payments. If in the future LTFRB allows Gojek to enter the market, obviously we'd be very interested in driving that side of the business as well. We know today there's really only one player in transportation, and it's not an easy situation for consumers.
But I guess now for those who are watching, they probably think that Gojek will do this through you. You will be the one applying. You will be the one doing more of the work, owning more of the company, but supported by Gojek, for example. Are you open to that, taking the lead in the transport unit, in the transport side?
I think I wouldn't rush to make forward announcements.
But you're open.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reason we were excited about partnering with Gojek in the first place is because we really see them as an up-and-coming player. And in a way, we've built ourselves from a grassroots business in the payments business, right, alongside like very big conglomerates. Like both of our competitors are run by well-entrenched players, whereas we've really we're a really homegrown Philippines company that we're a startup, right? We didn't have any major backing, and we think in the transportation landscape actually looks very similar right now. We have like one large entrenched player, with really no checks on pricing, no checks on service. So having a second player come in and offer that same kind of level of challenge is going to increase competition. It's going to result in a better product for customers. So
exciting. I hope to see you again soon when you have announcements to make on this side of the business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. Oh, by the way, before we'll let you go, Endeavor. How's the Endeavor experience been like for you?
Phenomenal. I mean, we've received a lot of support and a lot of mentorship. Actually, for me personally, I'm still a guest in this country, and so having that network of experienced local entrepreneurs who can kind of guide me and provide me with insights has been like very helpful.
Okay. On that note, thank you very much, Ron, for joining us, and congratulations again.
Thank you.